Welcome back, beautiful souls. Today we're diving deep into January 2026. And I have to tell you, this is not just another January. This is the month that sets the stage for the most transformative year of our lifetime. In this video, I'm going to walk you through January almost day by day. I'm going to be looking at the major transits, aspects, and planetary movements with the exact dates, and I will provide degrees as well in some cases. And then we will be looking at your specific sun sign, so I will break it down what this means in your everyday life, your relationships, or your career, your money, or your spiritual journey. And here's the thing. January ends with one of the rarest planetary ingresses we'll ever experience. Neptune entering Aries for the first time in 165 years. So grab your calendar, take some notes, and let's map out your January 2026 together. Before I go into the day-by-day breakdown, let me give you the overview, because context is everything. January 2026 is what I call a preparation month and a transition month. We begin with all the personal planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Sun in Capricorn, creating this grounded, practical, let's get things done energy. But by the end of the month, Mercury, Venus, and Mars have all shifted into Aquarius, completely transforming the vibe from traditional to revolutionary. And here's what makes this month extraordinary. First, we have Saturn at the very last degrees of Pisces all month long. Saturn moves from 26 degrees to 28 degrees Pisces through January. Saturn had been in Pisces since March 2023, teaching us lessons about spirituality, compassion, boundaries with the formless, and mastering our emotions. January represents the final exam. Whatever spiritual lessons you've been learning since 2023, January is when you demonstrate mastery. In real life, this looks like finally getting or setting healthy boundaries with that energy draining friend or family member. It's finishing that creative or spiritual project you've started years ago. It's realizing you can be compassionate without being a martyr. Second, we have the Neptune also sitting at the very end of Pisces, preparing for its historic shift into Aries on January 26th. Neptune has been in Pisces since 2011. That's 14 years. For many of you watching this, Neptune has been in Pisces your entire adult life. Neptune in Pisces brought us the rise of social media, filtered reality, increased addiction and escapism, but also massive spiritual awakening, meditation going mainstream, the spiritual but not religious movement. All of that, Neptune in Pisces. On January 26th, Neptune enters Aries for the first time in 165 years. None of us have experienced this. This is once in multiple lifetimes astrology. And third, we have Jupiter retrograde in Cancer all month. Jupiter moves backward from 21 degrees to 17 degrees Cancer. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer at its absolute strongest, but it's retrograde, which means the expansion is internal rather than external. This is the month for reviewing your emotional growth, reevaluating home and family matters, and going deeper into what truly makes you feel secure. Fourth, Uranus stations direct on January 30th at 27 degrees Taurus. Uranus has been retrograde since September 2025, asking us to internally review our values, finances, and material security. On January 30th, Uranus starts its preparation for the direct motion, and we can start implementing the changes we've been contemplating. And fifth, Pluto is moving direct through early Aquarius, continuing its 20-year transformation of collective consciousness, technology, and power structures. So that's the setup. Now let's go week by week and day by day. So we begin 2026 with heavy Capricorn energy. The Sun is in Capricorn until the 19th, and all three personal planets, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, are in Capricorn at the start of the month. The Sun is here until January 19th. Mercury and Mars, January 20th, January 23rd, and Venus up until January 18th. This is maximum Capricorn energy, ambition, discipline, structure, responsibility, building things that last. Mercury in Capricorn. January 2nd to January 20th. Mercury governs how we think, communicate, learn, and process information. In Capricorn, Mercury is practical, strategic, realistic, and focused on results. So from January 1st, 2nd to January 19th, 20th, your thinking will be goal-oriented and practical, focused on what actually works, strategic about time and resources, and less emotional and more logical. Then Venus is in Capricorn. On January 1st, Venus is already there. It's been there since December. It is now at 11 degrees and moves out of Capricorn by January 17th, January 18th. Venus governs love, relationships, beauty, values, money. In Capricorn, Venus is mature, practical, loyal, and focused on commitment. So your approach to love is more serious and less frivolous. It's focused on long-term potential, appreciating reliability in partners, attracted to mature and accomplished people. And then finally, Mars in Capricorn throughout January up until the 23rd. This is about disciplined action. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. It functions at its absolute best here. So Mars in Capricorn is like a seasoned general with a detailed battle plan. It's strategic, disciplined, enduring, ambitious, and unstoppable. So you will have incredible focus on long-term goals, stamina and endurance, strategic thinking, ability to delay gratification for bigger rewards. For you, Aries, the Capricorn Stellium is in your 10th house. The 10th house governs your career and professional life, your public reputation, your relationship with authority figures, the life direction and calling, and achievements and legacy. So for Aries rising, your thoughts are now consumed by career strategy, important conversation with bosses, or communication becomes more formal and professional. So this stellium here can see you scheduling meetings with your boss to discuss a raise, or preparing detailed presentations, speaking with confidence about your value to the company. If you're an Aries sun, your identity is now wrapped up in professional achievement. thinking strategically about your public image. Or, for example, you can update your LinkedIn profile. You can reach out to a mentor. You can map out your 5-year career plan with very specific milestones. And if you are an Aries moon, your emotional fulfillment through career progress, it's what's occupying your thoughts at the moment. You will need to achieve professionally to feel emotionally stable. So, for example, you can feel anxious if not progressing at work. So, you create a detailed action plan and immediately feel calmer once you have your strategy. On January 2nd, there is a full moon in Cancer at 13 degrees. The moon governs our emotions, instincts, subconscious patterns, nurturing needs, sense of safety and security, and how we process feelings. It represents our inner world, our relationship with money, family, our need for comfort, and our emotional responses to life. Full moons specifically bring illumination, culmination, release, and emotional clarity. What was hidden becomes visible, and situations reach their peak. So, the first major lunar event of 2026 is this one. This full moon is significant because it's the wolf moon, it's the traditional name for January's full moon. It's conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. It is a big orb though. But Jupiter at 20 degrees Cancer does amplify this energy. It opposes the Sun in Capricorn, so your work, home, public, private achievement, nurturing tension. Full moons bring things to light, create emotional peaks, and often bring situations to completion. So, in general, what you might experience for all of us would be strong emotions about family or home situations, realizations about what you need to feel emotionally secure, family gatherings or important conversations, home related news or decisions, and heightened intuition and emotional sensitivity. This full moon asks us all, what do you need to feel at home in your own life? So, this full moon in Cancer on January 3rd is at 13 degrees Cancer. So, the Sun is at 13 degrees Capricorn, opposing the Moon at 13 degrees Cancer. Jupiter at 20 degrees Cancer, also here, conjuncts the Moon within a 7-degree orb. So you will be most effective if you have planets or angles at 11 to 15 degrees Cancer, as the Moon is conjunct those planets. So you can see emotional culmination, family home revelations. If you are 11 to 15 degrees Capricorn, the Sun is conjunct this full moon. So career, public life illuminated there. If you have any planets or angles at 11 to 15 degrees Aries, there is a square now from both the Sun and the Moon, so there will be some tension between independence and family versus career demands. And same for Libra, 11 to 15 degrees, the square from both Sun and the Moon can see some relationship needs versus home work balance challenge there. And if you are anything between 17, 18 degrees to 22 degrees Cancer, Jupiter is also conjunct this full moon for you within a 7-degree orb. So you can see blessings in your home, family, and emotional abundance in general. Now, if you also have planets at between 18 and 22 degrees Cancer specifically, Jupiter is directly conjunct them during this full moon, creating an extra blessing in home, family, and emotional realm. So this can see some beautiful manifestations through family gatherings, home improvement gifts or opportunities, emotional healing that feels miraculous, family member bringing good news, or feeling abundantly supported and loved. Your home situation can be improving significantly at this date. Um, Pregnancy, if that's your path, it's also possible. Family, financial support, or inheritance in general. Specifically for you, Aries, this full moon um, in Cancer on the 3rd of January um, falls into your fourth house. First of all, if you're an Aries with 13 degrees planets, or you're an ascendant Aries 13 degrees, the full moon squares your Aries placement, creating tension between independence, Aries, and family career obligations. This is the Cancer Capricorn. So, Aries rising at 13 degrees, you want to pursue your own path during this time, but family or career responsibilities demand attention. Maybe you want to travel or start something new, but parent needs help or work project can't be abandoned. The squares create frustration, but also motivation. How can you be true to yourself while honoring commitments? The breakthrough comes from honest conversation and creative solutions, not resentment or abandonment. So, this full moon in your home family house will represent for you, especially if you are within 11 to 15, 16 degrees, emotional culmination around home, family matters, living situation. Jupiter also blesses here, so you can see some home improvements, family reconciliation, feeling emotionally secure at home. Um, so, for example, what this full moon can bring to you could be family gatherings that bring clarity, or offer on a house, or parent child conversations that heal. So, if we now move on to the second and third week of January, so let's say from the 18th to the 21st of January, that's when the great shift begins. So, let's start first with January 18th. There is a new moon in Capricorn. New moons mark fresh starts, new beginnings, intention setting, and planting seeds for the future. When the sun and the moon align in the sky, it creates a powerful portal for manifesting, initiating projects, and committing to new paths. New moons are about potential, possibilities, and consciously choosing what you want to grow in your life over the next lunar cycle. This is extraordinarily significant because 20 degrees Capricorn is an anaretic degree. It carries wisdom of entire sign. New moons represent new beginnings. It's the best time to set intentions. And final Capricorn new moon before the sun enters in Aquarius the next day. So set intentions around career goals, long-term legacy, structures and systems, responsibility, authority, achievement. This new moon says to all of us, build something that will last. So specifically for you, Aries, the January 18 new moon in Capricorn will be in your 10th house. And so your career, public life, reputation, and authority. If you're a rising sun or moon, this new moon will plant seeds for professional advancement and public recognition for you, Aries. So whether you're an Aries rising, mapping your next career move, an Aries sun, feeling called to step into leadership, or an Aries moon, needing emotional fulfillment through achievement, this is your moment to set ambitious goals. You're committing to building something that will define your legacy. The universe is asking what you're willing to dedicate yourself to for the long haul. So if I would give you a specific example, for example, you can draft a detailed proposal for a new role or promotion at work, outlining exactly how you will add value over the next year. Or you can schedule a meeting with your boss for late January. Practice your pitch. Commit to 3 specific professional development actions, like completing a certification or leading a high visibility project or expanding your network by attending 2 industry events monthly or something like that. You will be very specific and setting very clear intentions with this new moon in Capricorn in your 10th house. On the same day, on January 18th, Venus enters Aquarius, leaves Capricorn and enters Aquarius. Venus governs love, relationships, attraction, beauty, pleasure, values, money, art, and what brings us joy. It shows how we give and receive affection, what we find beautiful, how we relate to others, and what we value most. Venus represents our capacity for connection, harmony, aesthetics, and the quality of sweetness in life. Basically, everything that makes life worth living. This is a dramatic shift in the energy of love, relationships, and values. So Venus was in Capricorn up to January 17th, when it showed us a serious, committed, practical, traditional, mature way of living. With Venus and Aquarius from January 18th, we become or start seeing a more free-spirited, unconventional, friendship-oriented, independent, and innovative way of life. Practically after January 18th, there is a desire for more freedom in general for all of us in partnerships, attraction to unique people, intellectual connection mattering more than chemistry. Now, for you Aries, when Venus enters Aquarius on 18th of January, it enters your 11th house of friendships, groups, community, future vision, and networks. So if you are an Aries, a rising sun or moon, Venus brings love and value into your social sphere. Whether you're an Aries rising, attracted to friends who feel like family, or an Aries sun that is finding identity through community involvement, or an Aries moon that is feeling emotionally nourished by group connections, your social life becomes a source of pleasure and possibility. You are now attracting people who support your dreams and are valuing friendships as much as romance. So if I would be thinking specifically for you, this can see you organizing a party or a gathering for diverse friends who don't know each other, or creating connections within your network. You can join a hobby group, rock climbing, book club, a coding meetup, where you can meet like-minded people authentically. If single, you might develop feelings for your friends or meet someone through your social circle. You invest money in causes or communities you believe in, like crowdfunding a friend's project or joining a co-working space. And then one day after that, um, on January 19th, Sun will enter Aquarius. As you can see now, almost all planets have moved back from Capricorn into Aquarius. The Sun governs our core identity, the life force, vitality, ego, conscious will, and sense of purpose. It represents who we are in essence, our creative self expression, and how we shine in the world. The Sun shows what gives us energy, what we are here to become, and the qualities we're developing throughout our lifetime. It's our central organizing principle. It's the I am at the heart of our being. Sun shifts from Capricorn into Aquarius, from traditional to revolutionary. Aquarius Sun energy speaks about innovation, progress, community, individuality, technology, freedom, intellectual stimulation. Now, for you Aries, when the sun enters Aquarius, it goes into your 11th house of friendships, groups, and future goals. So we have another planet joining your 11th house. So if you are an Aries rising sun or moon, for example, if you are an Aries rising, this month shifts your focus outward to your social networks and long term aspirations. You are actively connecting with like minded people and rallying your community around shared goals. Aries Sun feels energized by collective projects and finds their identity strengthened through group participation rather than solo ventures. And Aries Moon people experience emotional fulfillment through friendships and feel genuinely excited about future possibilities, craving connection with people who share your progressive vision. So, to give you an example, very similar to Venus entering Aquarius, this can see you joining a professional networking group or an online community that is centered around your industry, or suddenly you're exchanging ideas, collaborating on projects, and are feeling part of something bigger. You might organize a group fitness challenge with friends or start a book club, focus on innovation and entrepreneurship, or find yourself volunteering for a cause you care about alongside people who inspire you. So instead of your usual go it alone approach, you are genuinely enjoying the collective energy and realizing that your biggest goals are achieved through teamwork, not just individual effort. And then on January 20th, we have the golden window for the Saturn Sextile Uranus. This has been active since December, I would say, with a very extended orb, say around 5 degrees orb, September 25th, and it will still going to continue to be felt until February 13th, give or take. But January 20th, it's very exact. The orb, it's very exact. Because Saturn is at 27 degrees. Is at 27 degrees Pisces, and Uranus is at 27 degrees Taurus. 27 degrees 32 minutes, 27 degrees 38 minutes. Very, very close. This is it. It's exact. Basically, what this represents for all of us is an opportunity for sustainable innovation, practical revolution, revolutionary and responsible changes, and structured creativity. So the key question here that we are being asked by this Saturn Sextile Uranus aspect is, what's one significant change I can make that's both revolutionary, Uranus, and responsible, Saturn? For you, Aries, January 20th, exact or golden window Saturn sextile Uranus happens in your 12th and 2nd house. So let's have a look. Saturn is in Pisces in your 12th house of spirituality, while Uranus is in Taurus, your 2nd house of money and values. For Aries rising sun or moon, if you are an Aries rising, this sextile connects your spiritual work and inner healing with practical changes to your income and values. You are finding sustainable ways to monetize your spiritual gifts or align your finances with your deepest truths. For Aries Sun, you can discover that responsible spiritual practice can lead to innovative income streams that honor your authenticity. For Aries Moon, you can feel emotionally secure when you are earning money in ways that support your inner work rather than compromise it. So specifically, this can see you launching a side business based on your spiritual or creative practice, like offering coaching or teaching meditation or selling artwork with a solid business plan and a realistic pricing. You might restructure your finances to support a regular therapy or retreat expenses, treating inner work as an investment rather than a luxury. You can establish passive income streams that give you time for spiritual development, or you negotiate remote work arrangements that reduce stress and create space for daily practices. The key is making practical financial changes that support your long-term spiritual evolution. On January 20th, Mercury enters Aquarius. Mercury governs communication, thinking, learning, information processing. It also governs short trips, siblings, and the exchange of ideas. It represents how our mind works, how we speak and write, how we learn and teach, and how we connect the dots. Mercury is the messenger, the translator, the networker. It's about gathering information, making connections, and expressing what we know. Mercury shifts from Capricorn strategic thinking to Aquarius innovative thinking. So from January 20th until February 7th, Mercury in Aquarius is asking us to think outside the box, to be interested in science and technology, to be direct and authentic communicators, to be inventive problem solvers. Now, on January 20th, when Mercury enters Aquarius, for you Aries, of course, it joins the party with Venus and the Sun in your 11th house of friendships, groups, and future goals. So if you are Aries rising, Mercury activates your social networks and long-term vision with innovative thinking. Your conversations shift now toward future possibilities and collective goals. Aries Sun, you can find mental stimulation through group brainstorming and collaborative problem solving, expressing ideas more freely in community settings. Aries Moon um, processes emotions through discussing aspirations with friends, and you can feel mentally energized when exchanging progressive ideas with like-minded people. An example for all, kind of a general example for all Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. This can see you initiating group chats or planning sessions about shared goals, for example, or whether organizing a professional networking event or planning a group trip or strategizing about a community project. Conversations with friends become more intellectual and forward thinking. You're discussing technology trends, social innovations, or big picture visions rather than just personal updates. You might join online forums or virtual communities centered around your interests, or you can start researching cutting edge topics and sharing what you learn with your network. Your mind is buzzing with ideas about the future that you want to create collectively. And now, moving on to the final week of January, final days. January 23rd is basically from January 23rd to January 26th is the Aquarius conversions and Neptune's historic shift. On January 23rd, it is Mars who enters Aquarius. Mars governs action, drive, energy, passion, anger, desire, assertion, and how we pursue what we want. It represents our warrior spirit, our physical vitality, our courage, competitiveness. Mars shows how we take initiative, how we defend ourselves, how we express anger, and how we channel our willpower. Is the planet of action, motivation, and forward momentum. Pure drive and desire made manifest. So Mars shifts from disciplined Capricorn to rebellious Aquarius. So Mars in Aquarius from January 23rd to March 4th. It's action motivated by ideals, fighting for causes, independent approach to goals, innovation in how you pursue your desires. For all of us, it is a completely transformed vibe from traditional to revolutionary. And now all personal planets are in Aquarius. The Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Now, on January 23rd, when Mars enters the Aquarius party, for you, Aries, again, it joins your 11th house. So, for Aries, a rising sun or moon, this will see Mars energizing your social sector with a revolutionary drive. Whether you're an Aries rising, taking action within groups, or an Aries sun, finding identity through community leadership, or an Aries moon, feeling emotionally activated by collective goals, you are motivated now to fight for your future vision alongside others. Your social activism and collaborative innovation become compelling. So again, with Mercury here, with Venus here, giving you the mental capacity and the grace to do all this. It can see you taking a leadership role in community organization or professional group. It can see you organizing events or initiatives that move the needle. You're motivated to network aggressively, attending 3 industry events or reaching out to 20 new connections. If there's social injustice that angers you, you channel that into organized action, attending protests or volunteering or starting a campaign. You collaborate or on an innovative project with friends or colleagues, driving it forward with intensity and unconventional strategies. And now, on January 26th, the Neptune enters Aries. This is a historic game changer. This is a once in 165 years historic event. Now, Neptune. It governs spirituality, dreams, imagination, illusions, compassion, transcendence, surrender, mysticism, and the dissolution of boundaries. It represents our connection to the divine, our capacity for unconditional love, our artistic inspiration, and our desire to merge with something greater than ourselves. Neptune can be both the highest spiritual vision and the deepest delusion. It's where we seek meaning beyond the material world. Neptune enters Aries at 0 degrees for the first time since 1861 1875. This is a fundamental shift. Until now, Aries was in Pisces, and it was saying dissolve your ego. Well, Neptune in Aries will now say take spiritual action. Neptune in Pisces was saying surrender to the flow. Neptune in Aries is now saying be a warrior for your beliefs. Or Neptune in Pisces was saying we are all one. Neptune in Aries is now saying have courage to pursue your dreams. What January 26 means for all of us, we will all feel something shift, a sudden courage, a calling to fight for a cause, or impatience with passive practices. For you, Aries, on January 26th, when Neptune enters Aries, it enters your first house of self, identity, physical body, life direction, and personal approach. Aries, rising sun or moon. This is your historic Neptune transit, a once in 165 year spiritual awakening of self. Whether you're an Aries rising experiencing mystical identity transformation, or an Aries sun discovering your spiritual warrior nature, or an Aries moon feeling dreams and intuition merge with emotions, you are being called to pioneer new spiritual paths and embody courageous dreams. Over the next 13 years, you become the living example of spiritual action, compassionate assertion, and enlightened leadership. Specifically, how will you feel this? When you wake up on January 26th, you will wake up feeling different, like a veil has lifted or a new frequency has activated. You're suddenly called to start a spiritual practice that includes movement, like warrior yoga or martial arts meditation or running as prayer. You begin having vivid dreams of yourself as a leader or pioneer, and instead of dismissing them, you now start taking bold steps toward manifesting these visions. You might change your appearance to reflect your spiritual awakening, like dressing more authentically or carrying yourself with a new presence. Your courage becomes your spiritual practice. Throughout the entire month of January, Uranus has been a retrograde in Taurus. And at the end of the month, it's starting to prepare for its direct station in Taurus. Uranus governs revolution, innovation, sudden change, awakening, rebellion, independence, technology, and liberation. It represents breakthroughs, genius insights, unconventional thinking, and the drive to break free from limitation. Uranus disrupts the status quo, bringing unexpected events that shake us awake and force evolution. It's the planet of progress, individuality, and a radical authenticity. It change happens suddenly but leads to freedom. Uranus now is at its final degrees in its 7-year journey in Taurus. It's been retrograding since September last year. It's now getting ready to station direct. It will happen exactly at the beginning of February. But that we can start feeling its direct motion effects. And what that will bring is basically a forward movement that it's activating in finances, values, material resources, technology, and lifestyle, which is what Taurus represents. Changes you can now implement, all of us in general, while Uranus is getting ready to move direct, are new jobs, investment strategies, lifestyle changes, and technology upgrades. Now, throughout the month, Uranus is in Taurus in your second house of personal finances, um, resources, self worth, values, and material security. For Aries rising sun or moon, when Uranus is now preparing to move direct, is still retrograde and is going to be retrograde throughout the month until the first 2, 3, 4 days of February. But it's start. You can now start it feeling prepare the preparation of a direct movement. What does this mean? When Uranus is direct in your financial sector, it means you can now implement the radical changes that you've been contemplating since September, when it started going retrograde last year. When whether you're an Aries rising ready to revolutionize income streams, or an Aries sun finding identity through financial innovation, or an Aries moon needing emotional security through material freedom, forward momentum is now beginning to activate. The reviewing phase is starting to get finalized. Execution will now begin. This can see you finally thinking or being at the final steps of launching that side business that you've been planning, or invest in alternative assets that you have researched during the retrograde period, or maybe quit a stable job to pursue freelance work that offers freedom and higher earning potential. You might negotiate a significant raise, armed with evidence of your value, or completely restructure your budget to prioritize experiences over possessions, or implement new technology for managing finances, like applications or investment platforms or digital banking. The income source or financial strategy that felt uncertain during the retrograde since September last year, now it's starting to move forward decisively. Now let's have a look at Jupiter. Jupiter is also, let's have a look, Jupiter here. It's also been retrograding the entire month in Cancer. Jupiter governs expansion, growth, wisdom, optimism, faith, abundance, higher learning, and the search for meaning. It represents our capacity for hope, generosity, philosophical understanding, and the principle that life is fundamentally benevolent. Jupiter shows where we seek to grow, what we believe in, how we find meaning, and our relationship with luck and opportunity. When a retrograde, Jupiter turns growth inward, developing internal wealth, wisdom, and faith rather than external expansion. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, but it's being retrograding, so it's about internal expansion. What you're experiencing, what you can be experiencing, or all of us can be experiencing during this time, is internal emotional growth or reviewing home and family matters, building internal security. The blessings are happening inside ourselves this month. So, in general, Jupiter, the most activated degrees this month are um, from 17 to 21 degrees, because Jupiter is retrograde from 21 to 17 degrees Cancer throughout January 2026, until it will station direct. It will continue its retrograde motion during next month as well. So um, let's dive a little bit deeper into understanding Jupiter retrograde. When Jupiter, the planet of expansion, abundance, and wisdom, it's retrograde, the growth turns inward. Instead of external opportunities and blessings, you are experiencing internal expansion, physical deepening, emotional wisdom, spiritual growth. Jupiter in Cancer retrograde specifically means reviewing your emotional needs, your family relationships, your sense of home, and what truly makes you feel secure. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. This means Jupiter functions at its absolute best in Cancer. Even retrograde, Jupiter in Cancer brings blessings, but they're internal, private, and emotional rather than external and visible. This entire month is perfect for emotional healing, family reconciliation, inner work on security issues, and understanding what home truly means to you. Don't expect external expansion just yet. That comes after Jupiter goes direct in March. January is about internal emotional abundance. All month Jupiter retrograde in Cancer brings internal blessings like emotional intelligence. This can see you understanding feelings deeply, becoming emotionally wiser. It can bring family healing, internal shifts in family relating, even without external conversations. It can bring home appreciation, gratitude for where you live. It can bring nurturing capacity, so you can become better at caring for self and others. It can bring you security, wisdom, understanding what truly creates security for you. It can be about feeling connected to your ancestral lineage, or in general, it's inner wealth. It's about your emotional abundance regardless of the externals. So use January for internal work. External manifestations comes in March when Jupiter goes direct. Jupiter also retrograde in Cancer all month long. For you, Aries, this is Jupiter retrograding in your fourth house of home, family, roots, foundation, emotional security, and private life. Whether you are an Aries, a rising sun or moon, Jupiter retrograde in your home sector creates internal expansion of emotional security and belonging. If you're an Aries rising, you can be reviewing your foundation and living situation. Or for Aries sun, you can be finding identity through deepening roots. Or if you're an Aries moon, you can be emotionally nourished by internal family work. You are now, regardless, you're growing on the inside through reflection on home and heritage. External home changes wait. Internal emotional development happens now. So specifically, this can see you instead of making big moves or renovation, you are processing your relationship with home and family internally. You journal about maybe childhood experiences and how they shaped your adult patterns, or work through family dynamics in therapy, or simply spend more quiet time at home reflecting on what security really means to you. You might realize that your restlessness about living situations is actually about unresolved emotional needs, not the physical space. You are building internal emotional foundation that will support external changes later. Family members may bring up old issues for healing. Now, throughout the month, we're also having Saturn in Pisces at its final degrees. Saturn governs structure, discipline, responsibility, maturity, limitations, time, authority, and mastery through effort. It represents our relationship with reality, hard work, long term commitment, and the principle that growth requires patience and dedication. Saturn shows where we must mature, what we're building over time, and where we face our greatest tests. It's the wise teacher who demands excellence. It's the taskmaster who creates lasting achievement through disciplined effort. Saturn is now completing a 2.5 year journey through Pisces, and it will enter Aries next month. We are all now being asked to complete our spiritual projects, to master boundaries with compassion, and to release martyrdom patterns. For you, Aries, Saturn in Pisces throughout the month is in basically occupies your 12th house, the spirituality, subconscious, hidden work, solitude, endings, and surrender house. If you're an Aries rising sun or moon, Saturn's final month in your hidden realm asks for completion of spiritual work before emerging into a new chapter. Whether you're an Aries rising, finishing karmic patterns, or an Aries sun, releasing old identity, structures, or an Aries moon, healing emotional wounds before renewal. This is your final exam in surrender and compassion. Next month, Saturn enters your first house and you rebuild yourself. Now you release what no longer serves. So this can see you completing therapy work or finishing a spiritual practice or course or releasing relationships and patterns that have kept you stuck. You might have vivid dreams showing you what needs to be released or feel drawn to solitude to process the past 2.5 years. This is not the time to start new projects, but to complete old ones and rest. You are mastering the art of letting go with grace, forgiving yourself and others, and understanding that endings create space for new beginnings. February brings rebirth. January requires release. And let's have a look at Pluto now. Pluto, again, all month long, it will be in Aquarius. Pluto governs transformation, death and rebirth, power, the unconscious, obsession, and the process of deep fundamental change. It represents what must die so something new can be born, where we experience power and powerlessness, and our capacity for profound psychological transformation. Pluto digs beneath the surface to expose truth, eliminates what's no longer viable, and catalyzes complete metamorphosis. It's the planet of evolution through crisis, of intensity through healing, and empowerment through facing our shadows. Transforming collective consciousness, technology, power structures throughout from 2026 to 2043. So the themes of Pluto in Aquarius in general is technology's role in society, power in networks, collective movements, Pluto in Aquarius all month long for you completes the personal planets and the Sun fiesta in your 11th house of friendship, groups, community, future goals, and collective power. So if you are an Aries rising sun or moon, Pluto's 19-year journey through your social sector transforms your relationship with community and future vision. Whether you're an Aries rising, experiencing power through collective movements, or an Aries sun, finding identity through group transformation, or an Aries moon, emotionally fulfilled by meaningful community, you are learning that true power comes through networks and shared vision. This is a generational transit, reshaping how you connect and what you build toward. Specifically, this can see you over the next 2 decades, your friendships transforming completely. Superficial connection will fall away while soul level alliances will form around shared purpose. You might become involved in activist movements, technology collectives, or groups working towards systemic change. Your future goals shift from personal achievement to collective impact. You want to leave a legacy that benefits many, not just yourself. Power dynamics in friendships surface for healing. You learn to collaborate without dominating or submitting. Social media and online communities will play a transformative role in your evolution. And finally, the North and South Node. The North Node is in Pisces, and the South Node is in Virgo. The lunar nodes are the points where the moon's orbit crosses the ecliptic. marking our soul's evolutionary path. The North Node shows where we're growing, the new skills, the attitudes, and experiences we are meant to develop in this lifetime. The South Node represents our comfort zone, natural talents and past patterns that we must release to evolve. The nodes reveal our karmic direction, what we are moving toward, the north, and what we're moving away from, the south node. They show the fundamental tension between comfortable habits and necessary growth. So the North Node is about surrender, compassion, creativity, and faith. The South Node is about releasing perfectionism, overanalysis, and control. Collectively, we are asked to trust more, control less, feel more, analyze less, due to the nodes being in Pisces and Virgo. That would be a general understanding. So for you, Aries, the South Node is in your 6th house and the North Node is in your 12th house. This evolution for you is from perfectionist service to spiritual surrender. For Aries rising sun or moon, your soul's growth involves releasing over functioning in daily work in your 6th house and embracing spiritual trust, your 12th house. Whether you're an Aries rising, learning to rest in faith, or an Aries sun, fighting identity through surrender rather than control, or an Aries moon, emotionally fulfilled by spiritual practice, you are being called to trust the unseen and release the need to perfect everything. Service through being, not just doing. Specifically, this can see you learning to take breaks from constant productivity and allow time for meditation, for rest, for creative wandering without an agenda. Instead of fixing everything and everyone, you are developing faith that some things heal through compassion and presence rather than analysis and intervention. You might find yourself drawn to spiritual practices, therapy that access the subconscious, or creative expression that flows without perfectionist editing. The growth comes from trusting that you don't have to have all the answers or perfect all the details. Sometimes surrender serves better than control. And that's January 2026 for you. Quick recap of your power dates. January 3rd, full moon emotions peak. January 18th, new moon, set your intentions. January 20th, Saturn Sextile Uranus, your golden window for sustainable change. January 26th, Neptune Enters Aries, once in 165 years. Feel that shift. January 30th, Uranus is preparing to move direct after months of retrograde. It changes finally move forward. If you want a full deep dive, 90 minutes plus covering your entire 2026, link is in the description and pinned in the comment. Drop your rising sign below, hit like if this helped, subscribe for February's forecast, and remember, the stars don't control you, they inform you. What you do with this energy is up to you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.